In this demo, we will see how Dynamics GP can support the material planning process, thus helping control inventory carrying costs while ensuring the on-time product availability needed to maintain customer satisfaction levels. The process begins with the entry of a sales forecast for finished products. We will then define the ingredient and component materials that are required to meet that finished good forecast, as well as enter some parameters for planning material purchases. We can then review the system's recommendations for procuring the needed materials and verify the validity of those recommendations. Our first step will be to enter the sales forecast into Dynamics GP. In this case, we have entered a monthly forecast for a single product. Whether this item is procured in-house or by a contract manufacturer, the material planning engine will make recommendations about quantities of components and ingredients that we need to procure in order to make enough product to meet this forecasted demand. Because the forecast entry screen looks similar to an Excel spreadsheet, the sales team can easily enter sales forecasts directly into Dynamics GP. However, a number of clients have chosen to use the power of Excel itself to create forecasts, and then simply upload the finalized forecast into Dynamics GP. Now that we have entered a forecast for a finished product, we must define a formula or bill of material for that finished good in order for the system to recognize demand for component items that are used in the production process. Click Select after highlighting item VP001. Dynamics GP supports the maintenance of full bills of materials or formulas that would be necessary for in-house production. But a more common scenario among small pharmaceutical companies is that a contract manufacturer would source many of the ingredients, and the in-house purchasing team would only need to procure our active pharmaceutical ingredient, or API, and components such as bottles and labels. In this example, we can see how the bill of materials specifies our requirements for the active pharmaceutical ingredient using precise measurements. In this case, we are using 0.08 kilograms of the API, although we have the ability to go out up to 5 places after the decimal. Also on the bill of material are the requirements for the bottle and label. Now that the bill of material is driving demand for each component item, our next step is to instruct MRP how to plan for the replenishment of each item. This screen is used to define how we replenish each item, establish lead time, define requirements to order in specified multiples or pack sizes, indicate safety stock requirements, as well as order policy codes. Note that we have a 7-day lead time, a safety stock of 50, and a requirement to order at least 10 kilograms of this item. When making recommendations for replenishments, MRP will take into consideration all of this information in order to suggest intelligent purchase quantities. These are the purchases that MRP is recommending based on our sales forecast, current inventory levels, and the planning data entered on the last screen that we saw. It displays the quantity required, the date by which we need to receive the product in order to meet demand, as well as when we would need to place the order based on our lead time of 7 days. If we wish to accept the recommendation, we can proceed by choosing from amongst the vendors authorized to sell the active pharmaceutical ingredient. By clicking the Create button, we convert the recommendation into an actual PO. Prior to confirming or printing the PO that was based on MRP calculations, we will review why MRP made that recommendation. Each column represents a week into the future, while the rows give us planning information about the item for each week. The top row, gross requirements, represents the demand on this item stemming from the sales forecast and flowing through the bill of material. Scheduled receipts would show any already existing purchases that are on the way. The projected available balance shows what we will have in inventory if we follow MRP's recommendations. And net requirements show the gap that MRP is addressing with its recommendations. Finally, we get to the MRP recommendations themselves, the planned receipts and planned order releases. We can see here that on the week of May 14th, we would fall below our safety stock level of 50 if we did not place a PO. It has respected our lead time of 7 days and our minimum order quantity of 10, thereby recommending that we release the PO for a quantity of 10 on the week of May 7th. We have now seen a view of the full planning cycle that ends with the recommendation to make a timely purchase of just enough materials to meet our sales forecast, while respecting inventory, planning, and purchasing data stored in Dynamics GP.